In this rough, old, nasty world, this sin-tainted world with problems and concerns and the aches and the pains and the trials that we face, is there any reason to have joy? We're going to talk about that beginning today. We're beginning this series entitled Reasons for Joy. Welcome to this, your daily 180 Bible study. When we think about the concept of joy, do you realize that it is the natural state for a mature child of God? Now, that doesn't mean that you won't have problems, doesn't even mean that you won't have some sorrows, doesn't mean that you won't grieve, but there's something different about the faithful child of God. In 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 and verse 13, there Paul talks about when we lose someone, he says, he doesn't want us to grieve as those who have no hope. Well, we'll grieve. When you lose a loved one, you'll grieve, but not as one who has no hope. The faithful child of God has hope. And if you're saying momentarily, you're saying goodbye to one who is a faithful child of God, you have hope. You have that blessed hope of one day you'll be reunited in the presence of God. Well, this is the characteristic of a mature child of God. Look at Galatians chapter 5, 22 and 23, and I want you to notice this. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, there's our word, love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no law. Now I want you to see something. Oftentimes people talk about the fruits of the Spirit, but it's not fruits of the Spirit. If you look back at the text says, but the fruit, singular, of the Spirit. What do you mean, fruit of the Spirit? Sometimes we approach this as if it's some kind of a buffet, and someone can say, well, now, you know, I'm naturally loving, but I'm not very patient. And maybe somebody else would say, you know, I'm kind, but I'm not as faithful as I should be. No. These are all the characteristics of a mature child of God. Think about it this way. I want you to suppose I'm holding an apple and I'm going to describe that apple. And I say, well, it has a red skin on it. It has a stem. On the inside, it has a core with seeds, and it has a very tasty pulp. Now, how many different kinds of fruit have I described? No. I've described one type of fruit. And in Galatians 5, 22 and 23, what's he describing? One mature child of God. And the mature child of God has a different perspective on life. Join us again tomorrow.